I have got a rather frail elderly relative coming to stay. So I need to retrofit my place for a wheelchair user. Oh, man.
Given these aids are so vital to so many people, it's a shame more thought can't be put into their appearance. The options are pretty limited, to say the least. But imagine avoiding all this stuff and creating a new home with accessibility baked into its very fabric.
I'm going to have to design my own stuff, aren't I?
That's all right.
Design engineer Mark Butler and his wife Penny, a stay-at-home mum, live with their 3 children in this converted courtyard home in Warwickshire.
It's a lovely place to be in. Very lucky children
They are.
to be, you know, in the environment they're in.
Yeah. You don't realise how lucky you are. So
Yeah, here we are in our little green spots.
yeah,
Can't get much better than that, really, can it?
There's no doubt it's an idyllic setting to raise a family, but there's a fundamental problem with their house.
I've been here since '92, and it's probably can count on one hand the amount of times I've been upstairs. What is it?
Mark is paralysed from the waist down.
I broke my back in 1984. I was 15, just coming up 16, in a motocross accident. You know, you've got 2 choices, haven't you? You either get on with it, you know, and put your head down and move forward, or you sit around and feel sorry for yourself. And I've never been like that.
He certainly hasn't. Just a few years after his accident, Mark, who was already a keen swimmer, won a silver medal at the Seoul Paralympics. And another medal 4 years later at Barcelona. But no matter how driven and determined he is, one environment that still gets the better of him is his home.
Girls, breakfast!
The house doesn't work for Mark. He can't get upstairs.
If there's an accident or one of them's ill or whatever, then it's just not practical.
So it's mainly the staircase and the kitchen. There's probably once or twice a year where Mark will have what we call a mini meltdown because something really frustrates him.
I'm getting older and less able, struggling now to get things in and out of ovens, off ovens, to worktops, into the sink. And then steps in and out. Yeah, so it's just becoming more restrictive.
But not for much longer. Mark and Penny are about to take a giant leap by selling up and just next door, building an exciting new wheelchair-friendly home that works for everyone in the family. It'll be erected on the site of this redundant barn, last used as a home for rare breed sheep.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
Morning.
So is this it? This is it? This is all of 7 yards from your house?
Yep.
So this is a proper...
Yeah, welcome to our house.
Yeah, yeah.
A cup of tea.
Proper agricultural barn.
Yep.
Steel portal frame, standard sort of width, span, unit, concrete floor.
Yep.
Does this all go?
So a local farmer is going to come and take it away.
Does the new building kind of occupy the same site, same volume? How does
Yeah,
that work?
exactly the same.
So what is it that this building is going to give you that house doesn't?
For me, it's a 2-storey house, but I'm only using it as a single story. So kids' bedrooms and stuff upstairs, I can't chase the kids upstairs. I can't go up and read them a bedtime story. So for me, that's the main thing.
When you describe this to, you know, friends and family, how do you describe it?
I think home for life, a dream home, you know. But when this one's done, we still don't want, when somebody walks in, people don't think, oh, somebody in a wheelchair lives here.
Plastic grab handles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
But you can have grab handles, but they haven't got to look like somebody's not thought about it.
Yeah,
You know, it's
Doesn't need to be like that.
no, it's only our environment that makes us disabled. So if I'm in an environment where I can do everything, get everywhere, then the disability, if you like, goes away.
I mean, one of the biggest things about disability, isn't it, is the space you have to move around in.
And one of the reasons of doing this is to allow us more time as a family together. Everything as we want for a family home for, you know, now in the future years.
The interesting challenge here will be to engineer from scratch a home that's both wheelchair accessible for Mark and beautiful. Planning permission's been granted to demolish the existing barn and replace it with a 4-bedroom timber-framed dwelling, fenced off from the old house. Digging down will enable Mark and Penny to squeeze 3 stories into the new structure. In the basement, a car park will enable Mark to drive straight into the home and take a lift up, so stress-free accessibility to the floors above. The ground floor is all about family living, but with subtle design details that should make it easy for Mark to get around. There'll be a step-free concrete floor throughout, and retractable sliding doors set into extra-wide doorways, all to make it wheelchair accessible. The generous kitchen will also be designed around Mark's needs, with a low-level island section where he can more easily prepare food. Upstairs, there'll be bedrooms for each of the 3 children and a master bedroom for Mark and Penny, with an accessible bathroom next door. Plus a wheelchair-accessible balcony from which to enjoy first-floor views of the surrounding countryside. The energy-efficient structure will be clad in steel and heat-treated long-lasting timber as an echo of the old barn. It may all seem pretty simple and straightforward, but pocket doors, accessible bathrooms and flush thresholds are hard to get right. If this project works, it changes Mark's life forever.
How much is it going to cost to do?
Around about £500,000.
Probably 6.
Maybe nearer 6. The lucky thing that we've had is obviously we've not had to buy the plot. The plot's always there.
So, do you have to sell this house in order to build the one next door?
Yeah. But
We've got money to start.
How much?
150,000.
I've had a personal loan off my dad.
So you're going to carry on working full-time?
Yep.
You're going to carry on looking after this place full-time in the family?
We've got somebody in to project manage.
The building contractors that we're using will have everything tightly down that we won't have to do much interfering.
There's always questions there. There's decisions. I mean, thousands
Yeah.
of decisions
Yeah,
to make
of
with the building.
course.
And how long do you think it's going to take?
I'd like it to be within a year.
Yeah.
What do you think?
18 months, more like it. Hit problems, 2 years.
Okay. Thank you for that.
£600,000 is not a lot for a project as technical as this, especially with all the excavation needed to form the accessible basement. It seems to me this project's big objective is to provide very specifically for Mark's disability, both now and into the future. Great. But what they're doing is that they're procuring the house with a conventional builder through a main contract that basically makes it the builder's responsibility to finish this home, to deliver everything. Now, if I were Mark, I wouldn't be doing it that way. I'd be all over this project. I'd be wanting to make sure that all the thresholds were flush, that every tiny detail was correct. And I do think, consequently, that he is, in going about it the way he's doing, I think he is being just a little bit naive. I don't blame them for not wanting to be more involved. Time's in short supply.
We've got 10 minutes.
Penny's looking after 3 children, and Mark's job, working on the design of sports cars and racing bikes, keeps him busy up to 12 hours a day. A week later, their current house is on the market, and a local farmer turns up to demolish the barn where their new house is to be built.
Left bit.
We were looking for a barn for ice cream production. We're going to take the roof off. We're reusing the roof because that's an expensive part of the barn. And I think the holes will be in the same place when we put it back up again. Obviously, we're keeping the steel structure as well.
I think it's lovely that to have it recycled, that it's actually going up somewhere else. I mean, it would be such
And local.
But to actually be used properly somewhere.
Yeah,
It's good. All good.
But 2 months later, the project still hasn't started. The contractor that Penny and Mark hoped would organise and deliver this accessible home has pulled out, leaving them to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, it has been frustrating. It's been a long haul of waiting.
Penny and Mark have realised they need to be more involved. Mark is so busy at work that Penny is now going to help project manage.
I felt a bit uncomfortable about it and maybe realised the size of the whole build. Because detailed structural drawings hadn't been completely done, we had to get another structural architect and a new quote of the price.
But the new quotes coming in are in the region of £750,000. That's £150,000 over budget. And their current home still isn't sold. They've had to drastically rethink the scope of this pioneering project.
That's different. That's different.
Yeah. We started getting prices back for the basement and realised how expensive it was going to be. We didn't have the money or the budget to do that, so we've had to ditch that idea.
It'll claw back the £150,000 necessary to stay on budget, but it's a big blow to Mark, who will need more accessibility as he gets older.
I mean, I'm still annoyed that we didn't do it, and if money wasn't an object, I would have done it, and I would love to have done it.
Any more compromises, and the entire purpose of this project evaporates. Mark was going to be able to get out of his car in the warm and the dry, get into his wheelchair and get into the lift. All straightforward, all easy, all actually, in a way, possible for him to do now and in 20 years' time, equally as easily. But he can't do that now. All of us get older. And as he does so he's going to find it harder and harder to live in this place. And I think that's a great shame. After a year's delay in Warwickshire, construction has finally started. Even after eliminating the basement to get this project in for 600 grand, there is pressure here, not least to make sure all the accessible features of Mark and Penny's home work.
This is it. Got a house on the way.
Neil and Guy are two local builders and brothers. They're laying the concrete joists for the ground floor. And without a dedicated project manager...
Brick on the outside, block on the inside, but rendered on the inside.
It's now down to Penny to help get this project over the line.
Yeah, it seems to be working well at the minute.
Penny's at the forefront and she's managing it, dealing with pretty much 90% of it and dealing with what Mark's choices are as well.
But no, they're good to work for.
You don't think about this stuff taking so much time, do you?
No.
The input of their design team and their own involvement in the design, that's all materialising. But Mark already misses his basement.
I mean, it came down to basically cost, you know, and it was half as much again. We ain't got the budget to do it.
Future-proofing a home ought to be about anticipating change, and that worries Penny.
I've seen a change in Mark over the last 3-4 years physically, and it is really hard for him. And he is an absolute star, how he keeps going. But it's a strain, you know.
4 weeks later, the foundations are finished, ready for the structure of Penny and Mark's new home to go up. But just as this project's getting going, circumstances threaten to derail everything.
Yeah, since we last spoke, me and Pen have decided to separate.
It's very, very traumatic.
So getting a house built and separating as well.
It's stressful events in life.
Definitely. I mean, it was a big thing telling the children. You know, it's emotionally it was tough.
The sale of this will release enough equity to fund this and to provide for Penn as well.
Well,
that's a new complication, isn't it, to the finances, because you then got to also find somewhere for it.
And the whole idea of this was for me to kind of semi-retire or not back on the hours at work. Unfortunately, I have to carry on working for a little bit longer, so we can sort Penn out and...
Yeah. So who's now going to live here?
Me and the children. Penn said really that I should be here. Well, you know, it was our dream, but I suppose I'm the lucky one that's going to rattle around in there. But, I mean, we're still best of friends. I mean, she's been brilliant on this.
She is still working on this scheme.
Absolutely. I couldn't do it without her.
Building projects can be fraught at the best of times, let alone when you're a couple in the midst of separation.
The situation that you're now in, separated, but working together on a project as a team. Does that feel weird?
It is partly weird. It is. It can't not be. And I don't know, I think part of it you feel more weird because people say to you, oh, that's strange that you get on so well. You know, we do generally love each other and care about each other a massive amount.
Pen, don't worry.
That's a bit grotty, isn't it?
No, it's not grotty, it's clean. It's been washed, it's washed. I have a clean one every day. And iron them.
So, we do get on really well. And you know, the big thing is me and Mark are really cool about it. It's good, you know, and we've got great respect for each other. And I know Mark's happy with me doing the bits and it helps him.
Yeah. Do you think you can sustain it between you? You know, do you think you've got the stamina to, you know, to be able to manage this through to the completion of the project and beyond?
It will be fine.
I can't imagine in any realm that it's going to be easy, especially as there could be up to a year left on this project.
I sort of think they're using it as a sort of exercise, that in a way they are using the formality of their working relationship as client and project manager as a way of practicing, rehearsing, trying out their platonic relationship going forward. Now, you might think that's really weird, but I admire it. I think it's fantastic.
So, the project goes on, and in the autumn, 60 insulated timber panels arrive, which will form the basic structure of Mark's new home. These supersized, well-insulated panels were made in Coventry for £95,000. The change of circumstances means construction will now be funded using a loan against Mark and Penny's current home until it sells.
It's quite bizarre now, especially seeing it, thinking, I'm not going to live in this house, but my children are. I'm the mother of his children, our children, so I want to do a good job project managing, and we can be good grown-ups because it has played probably a bit of a role in mine and Mark's sort of going separate ways as well, sadly.
You got 14 first, yeah?
The advantage of insulated panels is sheer speed. It'll take just 6 days to put up the basic structure of this house, instead of 8 weeks for traditional bricks and mortar.
This job, as most of our jobs, it's all been designed large format, so it's about the biggest possible panel that we can deliver. Larger components, quicker to build. You're trying to work to the rate of the crane. If you can fit 50 lifts in a day and they're larger, you obviously fit a lot more building in with your 50 lifts.
20 goes over the top, so you need to fit 19 next. Put that one in, fit 19, and then 21 goes over the top of the two. Yeah, so basically, everything's numbered so that you can obviously build it.
These vast 3 by 6 metre panels are commonly used to construct schools, which need big open-plan layouts. They're less common in homes, but ideal for one that's accessible with large open spaces, like this one.
It's hard to make out.
I think that's a 9.
That's if they can work out where they need to go.
Ready?
You can see the pen mark.
Yeah.
Not all the panels are easy to identify.
You need to sharpen the pencil.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the factory, you know, when the lads mark it up, they're obviously on transit, they just get wet, weathered. Sometimes we have a little bit of confusion with the numbers, but normally works itself out in the end. Doesn't fit, it ain't going.
Yeah.
By lunchtime, the benefit of using the large panel system is clear to see. The ground floor walls are already up.
There we go. Lovely.
For Mark, progress can't come quick enough. I think his future's going to be more challenging and more solitary than he thought. For now, he's struggling on in a home next door that has no accessibility built into it whatsoever.
The first thing I've noticed is that there's a lip.
Day-to-day tasks most of us take for granted become hugely problematic.
Ah! I'm in, I've done it. So if I take a heavy pan, then I've got to make my way over to the sink. Blimey. Okay, pen in the other hand.
By this time you spilt boiling water. haven't you?
I have.
At the moment I can cope, but, you know, 5, 10 years, 15 years' time, I won't be able to, I may not be able to. This is current bathroom, so I can sit on here and then my taps are down there.
Oh, they're 6 feet away.
Yeah.
No good.
For me, that mirror is too high.
All I can see is my nose. I can't actually see my face to shave.
Home life is far more difficult for Mark than it should be.
What am I supposed to do here? That's it for me. And I have to use my legs to get this out. This is a disaster.
Thank goodness Mark won't have to live like this for much longer. But just next door, problems are emerging. Penny's discovered a design issue. It turns out a steel column was specified exactly where the fireplace is meant to be going.
The whole dining room was supposed to be one big open space. That's the fireplace. And they put a steel through a double-sided fireplace. The whole point was to be able to open up the whole house for Mark.
The fireplace will need to be moved to one side, and that'll limit Mark's ability to move freely through the ground floor space. It's hardly surprising there are problems. A truly accessible home built from scratch is a rare thing. Great examples of accessible architecture are out there, but usually in the public realm, where there's a duty to cater to as many in the community as possible. This is the Library of Birmingham, which won the coveted Selwyn Goldsmith Award for Universal Design in 2015.
When you think about access in public buildings, what immediately springs to mind is images of grab rails and handles and special pull cords and big signs, I don't know. Lots of kind of really obvious, clunky stuff. Come here to this building and there's none of that. It's beautifully, cleanly designed.
Look closely and you'll find wheelchair accessibility has been cleverly integrated everywhere. Huge open-plan spaces with very few walls and doors to navigate around. Extra wide thoroughfares throughout. Step-free flooring everywhere, even on the roof gardens that offer commanding views over Birmingham. Easy access to every floor with plenty of lifts. It's only in the bathrooms where you'll find grab rails and hoists, where they really matter. Francine Huben was the lead architect.
The most important, the philosophy was that it should be a people's palace, so really a building for all, and make it into a great space. Everybody loves beauty. You know, we don't want all buildings look the same, all the interiors look the same because of certain pragmatic reasons. It should not look like a hospital.
This pioneering public building proves that accessible design can be subtle and beautiful for £189 million.
Yeah, that's good for me.
But can Mark and Penny pull it off on a domestic scale within their 600 grand spend? Just 6 days since the timber installers arrived, the main structure's complete, just about.
This is the last day putting the roof on, so should all be good to go by the end of the day.
But strong winds are making it very difficult to manoeuvre these enormous panels into position. They are 6 metres wide after all.
The wind will take a big panel and, you may as well be flying a big kite. You've got to really sort of watch what you're doing. Wind. Just checking then with the driver. I've got the wind gauge and we're running in at 12 metres a second at the minute. 14, that's when you've got to stop.
If they have to come back another day, it'll cost the company another £1,300 for labour and machine hire.
Fingers crossed that's how it stays for the rest of the day.
But the wind eases off just long enough for the team to shift the last few roof panels into place. By the time Mark's back from work, the structure looks to have gone up as if by magic.
Everything's just slotted straight into place. It's quite amazing. If it all goes as well as this, then we should be all right. But hey-ho, you never know, do you?
Now the timber frame is up, the main contractors are straight back on site for the interior fit-out. And after a few weeks, you can start to see what this wheelchair-friendly house could be like to live in.
It's big, isn't it?
Hall diner.
Yeah.
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 Wow. So in terms of accessibility, pocket doors, yeah? Seamless floor all the way through? But there's a steel post in the middle of the building
Yes,
where the fire was meant to be.
yes. We could have changed it. It would have been a month and another £4,500.
This thorny design issue will mean that another wall will need to be built to accommodate the fireplace. A blow for Mark's dream of one giant living and dining room.
The idea is you can have it as one big open space. So now we've made it more of a private
Shove the
lounge.
fireplace that way.
It's going to have to.
It's just a lesson learnt for me of checking those kind of details.
With the fate of this very specialised project in the hands of a separating couple, you've got to wonder whether it's all too much for Penny and Mark, and just how successful the end result's likely to be. It's 16 months since Mark and Penny set out on their rocky project. With winter fast approaching, they're now getting the structure glazed.
You ready, Luke?
Straightforward, perhaps, but building for wheelchair access means taking nothing for granted.
Wait a minute. Thought it.
As it happens, the off-the-shelf sliding doors for the balcony off Mark's bedroom are disastrously wrong. They're just too small.
Isn't that dreadful? I can only just get my bottom through that. So this is a door that went in yesterday, just fit Mark's wheelchair, so it wouldn't fit any standard one.
It's a simple mistake that might annoy most of us, but one that's going to cost Mark and Penny £1,200 for wider opening French doors.
I assumed, as with a couple of other things, that architects catch those sort of details, and clearly they don't. But it lays at my feet, doesn't it?
As they move on to the interior fit-out, they can't afford to make any more mistakes. It's a stressful time for Penny, who's now planning the most critical parts of the accessible interior with her builder, Guy.
So the island needs to be that distance so he can get the pan and turn without having to move. It's just so he can reach.
Yeah.
Kitchen and bathroom are probably the most important things because it's those that sort of really throw your disability at you. Cheers, babe. So he's going in the shower and he needs to turn, you know what I mean? So he's got to transfer over. So that's why, because his knees are there.
Yeah.
Bathrooms can be really dangerous. You know, we've been places and Mark's had black eyes and nasty falls, that sort of thing. So I'm just thinking he's got to reach the controls. So it is very much getting it absolutely bang on right.
Okay.
One of the most essential Mark-friendly features that has to be bang on is the custom-built lift, costing £20,000. And Mark's thought long and hard about how to make it part of his house. Well, he's a design engineer.
We've got this in anthracite grey, which matches the window frames. But also, as well, we tinted the glass because he wants to clad around the lift, so it isn't just white, ugly, utilitarian looking, making the lift a feature rather than an eyesore.
Mark's putting even more effort into designing another big component of this house, the stairs.
It's quite ironic, really, because it would be something that I'll be designing that I'll never use. But I think as a designer, it's one of those things. I mean, I design racing motorbikes, and my days of racing motorbikes is long gone, but it's just nice to know that, yeah, that somebody's getting the benefit from them and somebody's enjoying them.
The stairs are inspired by Mark's years designing racing cars and bikes with his engineer friend, Mark Taylor.
You can see
Yeah.
the structure.
Yeah. I think it looks all right.
Yeah. That's all we do on
Each tread will be shaped like an aerofoil.
So this is a rear wing frame that we designed and built for Silverstone and many circuits around the world. You'll often see it obviously clad with a skin with all the sponsor stickers on. Obviously on the stairs there's no need for this aero teardrop shape. We'll make them a more uniform tread shape and then clad over the front and round the back. But as you go up the stairs you'll be able to see the structure underneath.
4 weeks later, a prototype of Mark's racing car stairs is being built at a workshop in Buckinghamshire.
Hi, Mark. This is the staircase. It's very beautiful. Chunky stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, my word. It's a ton. It's going to be quite something, this, isn't it?
It's something you can sit back and look at and
And I think you should. I mean, it's your home. You two have worked together for how long?
Yeah, 97.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
21 years, right.
Proud of what we've done. You know, when you think, you know, we've had MotoGP bikes win races, you know, and you don't really get that accolade. It's the rider, it's the team, it's the whatever. And I've got the opportunity now to stick something in my house that's a bit of what we've done over all those years. But like I said, the ironic thing is I'm doing this and I'm never going to use it.
But Mark is going to be using his custom-designed lift.
Nice. Black glass doors like you're glazing.
And it's ready to beam us upstairs.
Nice. It's very Star Trek. This is a game changer.
Yeah.
Very light up here.
Yes.
Oh, hey, here we are. So where's your room then?
Down through here.
That's a great view.
It is amazing. I've never seen the bottom of those trees. I've only seen the top of them since '92. That view, for me, has been, you know, from, 4 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
The difference is just immense.
And I just realised I haven't focused on that view because at my eye level, there's a bit of wall. But of course...
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord, yeah. It's remarkable.
Yeah.
I mean, that would lift my spirits every day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very exciting to see this stuff, isn't it?
Come spring, everything starts greening up.
Yeah.
Summer, and then the autumn. I just want to see all these seasons from the end of my bed.
How do you find yourself reacting to it?
Emotional? Yeah. I mean, I don't show my emotions very much, but it is amazing.
Fantastic.
By spring, Penny and Mark's existing house is finally under offer. But there's still a ton of work to do before the house is ready for Mark to move into. The outside's been clad in a combination of steel and long-life heat-treated timber to echo the barn that once stood here. The inside's being plastered and painted, ready for the accessible kitchen and bathroom. Inevitably, that involves more problems for Penny.
So it looks awful.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That out there, how far?
No, that's not coming out at all.
Understandably, all this is starting to take its toll.
My very weird position that I'm in, doing a house for the ex-husband, which is very strange, and when you say it out, it sounds even worse. Because obviously it's not my house anymore, it's Mark's. Generally, I feel very little connection to the house anymore, apart from if Mark and the kids are happy. That's it. So yeah, all a bit strange.
Last time we met, events were quite fresh in a way. And, you know, construction is always stressful, but do you think it put too much added stress on your relationship, this project?
It would have been good if me and Mark could have concentrated on each other a long time ago.
Yeah.
You kind of lose each other, and actually you need to concentrate on each other as a couple. So I think that was its contributing factor. And it's the shame that we've come so far with this build, which was supposed to be the ultimate family home.
Yeah. You must feel regret at not being able to...
Share it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Mark feels the same as well. He's a bit scared of it all.
He doesn't show it, though, does he? I mean, emotionally. When does your role as project manager come to an end here?
It finished last week when I told him to go and choose tiles.
OK, so it's him now.
It is, but it's come into the details and the personal stuff. He has to make those decisions now.
Penny and Mark have both poured their hearts and souls into this place. My sincere wish is that Mark ends up with a home that liberates and frees him from the perceived confines of his disability. He needs that freedom, because from now on he'll be on his own. It's midsummer in Warwickshire. Almost 2 years since Mark and Penny set out to build a wheelchair-accessible home for Mark that also works for the family. But a lot has happened since then.
So the question that remains for me, after all the compromises and the cuts, just how much of Mark's original vision there is in this house?
From a distance, things are looking encouraging.
Ah, but there it is, eh? Sticking its head up. Looking for all the world just like a barn. A modern barn. And all the better for it.
And like a barn, the top half is clad in timber, the lower half in anthracite render over blockwork walls. A modern, beautiful, low-energy home on the site of the old shed that stood here.
Hey, yeah. Oh, it's very sharp, isn't it? It's all absolutely proper, all as it should be. It's beautifully put together, straightforward. Yeah, beautifully done. Hey, Mark.
All right, and you?
Good, yeah. Are
See
you energised by your home? Does it
Yes.
kind of,
Yeah.
It's great. It's looking so sharp.
Yeah, it still kind of takes your breath away a bit, really.
So, the kids, are they here much?
All the time.
They're enjoying using it too.
Yeah, whether they enjoy Dad being able to get upstairs to tell them to tidy the rooms and that kind of thing, I don't know.
The junctions here are very good, not just between building materials, but between landscape surfaces. Grass meets terrace meets interior without a bump.
I can see from here, there's a slight ramp up to the front door.
Yeah.
And the other side drops away. What's lovely about that is it's subtle and almost unnoticeable.
Yeah, everything that we set out for it to be, really.
Yeah.
You know, easy to live in. You're not having to think about things. You're not having to kind of plan things, if you know what I mean.
You can just freely move through it.
No, really pleased with it.
Have a look inside. How are your thresholds? Oh, yeah, no, that's good. I could do that.
The flush floor justifies, for once, the use of fashionable polished concrete throughout.
I do like this space. They're so generous, these rooms, you know? So big. I mean, that gives you loads of turning circle.
Yep.
Which is important. And great, big, chunky views. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so the only real issue here was the steel going in where we wanted to put the fireplace originally.
But that looks like it's the right place for the fireplace.
It does.
Next door sits a generously sized hallway and dining room, again with plenty of circulation space for Mark. This room leads to the kitchen via extra-wide sliding pocket doors.
I'm going to let you do all this. That's so easy because of the action of the doors, isn't it? They just carry on. Oh, Mark, this is nice, isn't it? It's exquisite. It's aesthetically, I mean, it's very kind of appealing, you know, but I'm beginning to see immediately kind of stuff here which is kind of quite clever. That work surface for that table.
Yeah.
Is that made by Mark?
Mark, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's absolutely pucker. Beautiful. And the copper, of course, is
Antibacterial.
Antibacterial, yeah, copper.
It took quite a while to work out distances and gaps and stuff like that.
So how well does this accessible kitchen stack up against the one next door that Mark put up with for 25 years? There's only one way to find out.
The floor is superb, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, so it's like a sports hall. Oh, these are great, by the way. These are just great. And then, okay, pan. There's a pan onto the stove. You can also navigate, can't you, by pulling yourself along here. I thought this was purely aesthetic, this. A handle recess, isn't it?
So if you're pulling yourself around, and if you've got something in your hand...
Really easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Okay, so head on down to your work table. Love this.
See, eating height-wise...
Oh, congratulations. It feels actually quite radically different.
It's the environment that makes you disabled. This kitchen allows me to do everything that I need to do.
So, when you're here, you're not disabled?
No, because I'm able to do everything.
And this accessibility has been achieved without relying on any obvious white plastic stuff at all. The ground floor is a triumph of subtle, integrated wheelchair accessibility. But not everything has turned out as Mark intended.
I mean, it's functional, but it's really not what was meant to be there.
No.
I thought you kind of really cracked on with that staircase. I thought you...
Yeah, realised that the budget is all going on buying a house for Penny.
You've had to cut back on this.
Yeah, yeah.
So the staircase be considered as a bit of indulgence, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
It's drawn and it's there, and as
Yeah.
you've seen, you know.
And one day it may happen.
One day it may happen, yeah. Yeah, it's disappointing, but it's circumstances. It is what it is. you
Change,
know. Yeah.
which life is full of.
Absolutely.
Thankfully, there was enough money for the accessible way of getting upstairs, the stylish passenger lift.
Yeah, love it. After you.
Thank you.
So, first floor then, please. Ladies' lingerie and top hats.
Still the Trumpton moment.
The Trumpton moment. I think it's more James Bond than it is Trumpton. Look at that. Just push the door?
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. And you're actually being on this floor alone.
Yes.
Is special.
Absolutely.
There's one room up here that Penny spent a great deal of time getting right for Mark.
Into?
Bathroom.
This is lovely. So, you can get into that bath, can you?
Yes.
And the controls are within reach.
Controls within reach.
Really important. Mirror at the correct height.
at the correct
for you,
height.
not me. Toilet, plenty of turning circle there. And into the shower. That's great. You just slide straight onto that.
Yeah. Works really well.
Great.
So Pen works all that out.
Yeah, well, Pen was in here, in a chair. Made me realise that, you know, plumbers, carpenters ought to actually get into a chair and wheel themselves around to figure out where to put stuff. Bedroom?
Bedroom.
For the first time, Mark has access to all 3 children's bedrooms, something he never had next door, in addition to his own.
Ah, you've set yourself up there with a little telescope.
Yep.
Shirley, a little view. It's like a little apartment up here, really. Balcony.
Yeah.
Balcony looks, that's got the most bucolic view of all, hasn't it? Can you get through here now, by the way? So they put in the correct window in the end?
Yes. Yeah, it costs us a bit of money, but...
Oh, it's big, the balcony.
Yep.
Ah, how lovely. Being able to be up here, be able to see those views.
It's a view that's been there for 25 years, and it's only just now got unlocked for me, which is pretty special.
This project teaches me that good disability design is good design, that it can subtly compensate. As Mark puts it, the more the building does, the more he feels enabled. And yet, the project has been bound up with such personal loss.
In hindsight, do you think actually working together on the project was a good thing? Was Pen project managing?
I think so. I mean, she did a brilliant job.
She did.
And it wouldn't have happened without her.
I mean, do you know how much you spent in the end on this?
I mean, the bill came in on budget, just over 600,000.
Okay.
Although it's been hard, it's been difficult. I need to find somewhere for her and the children to live.
You going to be able to fund that?
At the moment, no. Which, you know, isn't a nice situation to be. If I did have to sell this, that would be difficult.
Yeah, you built this because you wanted to do this here on this place. Because you've been here for 25 years, you had connection to it.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose that.
No, I think everything we went through in our personal lives, to have come through all that and to have this at the end of it, and to be still civil and respectful of each other, I think is a big thing. So I think I owe it to me and I owe it to Pen to try and hold on to it. I'm enjoying the normality of being able to get around and do what I want when I want in my own house. It is still pretty novel and new and exciting. And again, that's got to go down to Pen. It is amazing.
So, I don't know whether you're inspired by this building. I am, and for 2 important reasons. Firstly, this place works so well. It has almost, if you like, stripped Mark of his disability. It's allowed him to live a fuller, richer life in a way that he couldn't, I think, have really fully dreamed of. And secondly, just to get here, Mark and Penny have had to set aside so many differences, have had to work together to figure out how they collaborate through all the pain of their relationship to get this thing completed. The fact that it's here is a miracle. It's a reflection on them. For that, for what this building represents, it is truly inspirational. Requires an engineer. Nobody else in their right mind would have a go.
Run!
Does it feel a little bit like being in a prison yard?
We are building this very, very cheaply, which adds to the nervousness, really. Whoa, bang!
This building occupies the same footprint as 9 houses.
I'm already dreaming about me grinding.
I can't imagine myself living here.